Hey everybody, it's Travis Weller. Thanks again for joining me for the 2-Minute Clinic. It's a new year. That means new music. That means new performances, new faces in new places. Directors everywhere are telling students to go practice. And this message is not for directors this time, but rather it's for the young musicians who fill our ensembles. So following a performance that you might have, a family member, a loved one, someone greets you and they say, "You are so talented. You have such a talent for music. You are able to do things. Your talent, I could never do those things." First of all, accept the compliment. There's a lot of sincerity and appreciation that's there that we just need to come to grips with. But what if I told you that talent isn't a mythical construct that some people have and others don't? Talent can be relatively a vague term. And just because someone is labeled as talented or a phenom or a prodigy, it doesn't mean that their long-term success is guaranteed. In fact, there's a lot of research that exists to show that's not actually the case. We label exceptional people as being talented. Sometimes, though, they don't live up to the billing over the long haul. Despite having the support, despite having resources, despite having mentors and coaches. Sometimes, though, the most talented individuals in a given profession or an endeavor are often the ones who have been overlooked and thought of as no one special. Daniel Coyle's journeys that are chronicled in his best-selling book, The Talent Code, didn't continually take him face-to-face with naturally gifted people who seemed to have talent in a specific area. At points, he did see exactly that. People who had the resources, they had the people around them, they had the right culture. But the other half of the time, Coyle saw people from nowhere, and they struggled. They encountered obstacles, and they only made progress through a series of small failures. Coyle talks about people seeking out the slippery hill to climb, essentially operating on the edge of their ability and acumen. They were willing to fail with the object of making themselves better. Coyle talks about this as being part of deep practice, experiences where we are forced to slow down, to make those errors, understand them, analyze them, and correct them. Finding the sweet spot in between what they can do and what we are learning to do. That process can take time because it is a very highly individualized process. But there are two things that are under your control: your attitude and your preparation. Attitude is being open to challenge, to tension, and by experiencing that tension, we experience growth. Preparation means finding the time to work on the things that you know you need to work on. The mental and physical preparation is all on you as a musician. It matters to your teachers that you devote the time to get there. The artist in you is waiting to be found. It's not residing on some page in a solo or on a book. Don't be offended, but as an educator, I generally acknowledge that number one, I am not perfect, and number two, neither are the young musicians that I work with. We are all a living work in progress. So you must be patient with yourself. You might know yourself pretty well. You understand your faults. You remember some failures. You know your fears, the inadequacies, the warts that we all have. It's good to have that moment of honesty with yourself. It's okay to know that they are in the room, but you have to be okay with hugging your cactus. I often tell people that I have one of the most unexciting resumes in the world. I'm thankful for the mentors and teachers I've had. They arrived right when I needed them. But there's no one I've studied with outside of perhaps Quincy Hilliard that necessarily moved the needle. I started out as a terrible saxophone player and then I switched to tuba. I never made an honor band or a district band while in high school. I never took a private lesson until my undergraduate degree. My list of failures and inadequacies at points is lengthy. I've never shied away from looking at them, acknowledging they are in the room, nor loving the bejesus out of them. I've learned to love and grow from tension and grow from failure. Even at 48, I'm still chasing my sweet spot. I'd like to think I'm an above-average conductor, composer, educator, advocate, and tuba player. But I am still a work in progress. I know where I haven't learned enough. I know where I haven't succeeded enough in artistic endeavors. And I'm not afraid to explore those areas until I find success and I find my sweet spot. So I practice. I practice writing, composing, conducting, and yes, I do practice my tuba. I think about all this work that I need to do, and I think about the great Michelangelo. This quote is especially compelling to remember that when it comes time for grind time, to put in that work, it's important that we take the time to do so. But if you aren't quite sure why practice matters, let me spell it out another way. There was once a young man with aspirations to be a great chef. He found himself in the middle of a culinary hotbed, Paris, known for its cuisine. Only through the influence and guidance of his mentor was he able to overcome the obstacles to live out that dream. The thing that was obvious in his story was he worked at his craft. Although there was tension, he valued his relationship with others because he knew they made him better. And at the end of it, he doesn't shy away from opportunity. Even through those moments of tension with his mentor, with those around him, he doesn't deviate from that course. Of course, I'm talking about Ratatouille. In the end, the voice of Peter O'Toole provides the voice of Anton Ego, the great critic that visits the restaurant. But in that moment, he frames in a great reminder for those who see us, who hear our performance, and understand our story as musicians. We can't all be great artists, but a great artist can come from anywhere. You might be an artist in waiting. You are an artist in waiting and you are from anywhere, but remember that you can go somewhere. Perhaps to that next solo recital opportunity, perhaps to a chamber group performance, with your marching band, with your concert band. You learn the music for the audition, take the audition. You can go somewhere with those kind of skills. You could even go somewhere like Carnegie Hall. And as we all know, the way to get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. This has been Travis Weller with the 2 Minute Clinic. Life, love, music. Until next time.